I've called the helpline 3 times. Each time has been for the care of my young child.
I heard about the helpline firstly from my mum.
The first time I called the helpline was because my baby had a fever late at night, and the nurse who picked up the phone reassured me that I did not need to take my baby to hospital, which was a great thing to hear in the middle of the night and to know that my baby was going to be okay.
For someone who's really frightened and it's the middle of the night and they're really not quite sure what to do, they're responsible for someone else's health, either their mother's, their child's health, or sometimes someone else's child who's staying in the house. And we're able to give some sensible medical advice about what needs to happen for that person. People certainly find that really reassuring, and that's a very valuable part of my job.
I called the helpline at 6 a.m. one Sunday morning. Mum had phoned me. She had woken and on her feet she had a rash.
So when you call the after hours line, you're put straight on to a nurse who then asks you a series of questions about who you are and what type of symptoms you or the person you're calling about are experiencing.
Lots of things like, have you changed your washing powder? Have you used any new creams or lotions or new soaps? A whole range of things to finally narrow down what had occurred and why Mum had this rash on her feet.
When I call the after hours helpline, I expect to receive professional advice immediately. And every time that I've called the helpline, that's exactly what I've got.
The service is staffed by GPs that have had significant experience in general practice.
I like the fact that you could get through to a human being.
Everyone has to have been at least 5 years in general practice before they can be on the helpline. So you've got experienced GPs. We can then try and help people in their decision of whether they can stay at home, be seen the next day, or they need to go straight away.
It is a saving grace in those early hours of the morning when you need professional, immediate medical advice.
They're trained, easy to talk to, really clear and methodical in going through the situation.
We certainly don't want to be in a role of replacing their GP. We want to be an adjunct, so their GP can have a good night's sleep and be fresh for the clinic the next day, rather than having to stay up all night taking calls. There's dedicated doctors able to take those calls.
The calls we make are on the weekend, on Saturday or Sunday, when there's no GPs available, which is really a third of the week.
If you call the after hours line, you get immediate support that can reassure you about the next steps you need to take to look after your baby or your child.
If you call our service and we think it's important that you see a GP at that time, we can access a big list of GPs that are available in your area or the closest one available to you that might be open.
The after hours line is a free medical service that anyone can phone to get direct medical advice.
So it's there when you need it, and that's really important.